Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something really exciting. We are breaking down the exact mathematical, step-by-step blueprint to hitting your very first crore. We're completely shifting mindsets today. Forget about relying on blind luck or those overnight get-rich-quick schemes. Instead, we're going to apply the strict, calculated discipline actually used by the world's greatest investors.
Look, let's just bust a massive myth right off the bat. 1 crore? It's not some magical, unattainable number reserved only for the ultra-privileged. As the data from our sources reveals, reaching this 8-digit milestone is actually a highly predictable mathematical process. It really isn't about how much you're earning today, it is entirely about understanding the underlying mechanics of money.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover the math of 1 crore, the value investing secret, the 0 to 10 lakh grind, 3 engines of income, plugging financial leaks, and finally, the snowball breakout. Let's get into it.
All right, part 1, the math of 1 crore. Let's break the illusion.
The math actually starts with this legendary concept called the 15-15-15 rule. It's beautifully simple. If you invest 15,000 rupees a month at an expected 15% annual return for exactly 15 years, it equals exactly 1 crore. When you break it down into these monthly, bite-sized pieces, that giant, intimidating mountain suddenly becomes a totally walkable path.
So, the real takeaway here? Your daily discipline and the immense power of compounding matter way more than the cash you start with. A lot of people wait around for the perfect time or a big salary hike to start investing. But as our sources highlight, inflation is constantly, silently eating away at your cash. Compounding is the magical antidote to that, and time is its absolute most essential fuel.
Moving right along to part 2, the value investing secret. Time to start thinking like a millionaire.
You know, Warren Buffett hit the nail on the head when he said, "Price is what you pay, value is what you get." Think about that for a second. You aren't just buying a stock, you are buying a literal piece of a business. When the market panics and prices drop, that is exactly when a true wealth builder gets to work, buying high value at a heavily discounted price. There's a stark contrast in mindsets here. The middle-class approach? It usually involves buying depreciating liabilities. Think the newest smartphone or a flashy car backed by a high-interest EMI loan, mostly just to look wealthy to society. The wealth builder, on the other hand, steps in to buy fundamentally strong assets during a market downturn, and then they just wait patiently.
And this brings us to the margin of safety. Basically, by buying an asset at a price significantly lower than its intrinsic value, you are building a shield around your money. You're protecting your downside. Even if the market drops a bit after you buy, you won't suffer heavy losses simply because you didn't overpay in the first place.
Which brings us to part 3, the 0 to 10 lakh grind. The Crucible. Now, legendary investor Charlie Munger has this brilliantly harsh reality check for this exact phase. He says, the first 10 lakhs is a bitch, but you gotta do it, even if it means walking everywhere and not eating. Getting from 0 to this first milestone requires severe, sometimes painful lifestyle sacrifices. It means saying no to weekend parties, delaying that dream vacation, and absolutely rejecting those luxury purchases. And our source data points to a really tough truth here. 90% of people quit right at this stage. Why? Because right now, your money isn't really working for you yet. The compounding is barely visible. You are working purely for your money. Your survival here depends entirely on forging an ironclad saving habit, because at this point, how much you save matters way more than your actual market returns. So, since just saving your money is painfully slow, and let's be real, your salary has a hard limit, you're probably wondering, how on earth do we inject some high-octane fuel into this process? How do we get out of this grind faster?
Well, that brings us to part 4, 3 engines of income. Let's accelerate the journey.
To speed this up, you have to run these 3 engines simultaneously. First up, upgrade your skills to boost your active income. This is your raw fuel. Second, channel that fuel into creating passive income streams. We're talking digital assets or side businesses that pay you while you sleep. Finally, take all the profits from those first 2 engines and funnel them directly into your portfolio income, which is your ultimate wealth generator.
Now on to part 5, plugging financial leaks. Basically, fixing the leaky bucket.
Because here's the thing. Earning more fuel means absolutely nothing if your bucket has holes in the bottom. Your job is to aggressively plug these leaks. Our sources emphasize choosing low-cost index funds to dodge those massive fee drains like 1 to 2% expense ratios that just devour your returns over the decades. Plus, use government-backed tax-saving funds like ELSS or PPF to keep your money in your own pocket. Oh, and beware of the latte factor, those small daily expenses like a 200 rupee cafe trip that secretly bleed your wealth dry. Avoid credit card traps at all costs.
And that leads us to the absolute ultimate enemy of wealth building: lifestyle creep. It happens when society pressures you to upgrade your car or your wardrobe the exact moment you get a promotion. To hit your 1 crore goal, that extra raise needs to go straight into your portfolio, not into inflating your lifestyle. It's fascinating, really. The truly wealthy literally use inactivity as a brilliant strategy. While the average person is out there constantly day trading, triggering short-term taxes and brokerage fees with every single click, the wealth builder simply holds. By keeping their money invested for years, they defer taxes entirely and let compound interest work its magic without any government interruption.
All right, we've made it to the climax. Part 6, the snowball breakout, the promised land. To understand this phase, you just need this brilliant mental shortcut called the Rule of 72. Here's how it works. Simply divide 72 by your annual return rate. So if you're getting a 15% return, 72 divided by 15 is roughly 4.8. That means your money is naturally doubling approximately every 5 years, completely on its own without you lifting a finger.
And this right here, this is the exponential speed of compounding in action. Just look at these estimates. The initial push to 10 locks takes an agonizing 7 years of sweat and sacrifice. But because of the compounding breakout, getting the next 10 locks takes only 3 years. And the jump from 20 to 40 locks? Just 2 years. The math literally accelerates. Warren Buffett loves to compare wealth building to rolling a wet snowball down a really long hill. In the beginning, yeah, you have to pack it tightly and push it hard. But during this breakout phase, your wealth is generating more wealth all on its own. When your portfolio income finally pays for your monthly expenses, you've done it. You have achieved true financial freedom. You now own your time.
So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. Making a crore? It isn't a mystery, and it isn't an issue of knowledge anymore. You literally have the exact, proven, mathematical blueprint. It is simply a test of whether you're willing to endure the boredom, ignore the societal pressure to spend, and find the raw discipline required to start right now. Will you take that first step?